Welcome to this math video, where we'll be talking about independent and dependent variables. My name is Inaim, and I'm here to help you become the best math student ever. Let's start with the basics. An independent variable is a variable that you can change. It's like the boss of the equation. A dependent variable, on the other hand, is a variable that changes as a result of the independent variable. It's like the worker bee that follows the boss's orders. Let's say you want to bake a cake. The temperature of the oven is an independent variable, because you can change it. The way the cake turns out is the dependent variable, because it depends on the temperature of the oven. If you bake the cake at a low temperature, it might not cook all the way through, but if you bake it at a high temperature, it might burn. Here's another example. Let's say you're trying to see if eating a healthy breakfast makes you more awake during class. The independent variable would be the type of breakfast you eat. Maybe you have cereal one day and eggs the next. The dependent variable would be how awake you feel during class. By changing the independent variable, you can see how it affects the dependent variable. Finally, let's talk about control variables. These are variables that you want to keep the same throughout your experiment, so that they don't affect your results. Going back to our cake example, a control variable could be the type of cake mix you use. You want to keep that the same so that any differences in the cake's outcome are due to the independent variable, the temperature of the oven. So remember, the independent variable is what you can change, the dependent variable is what changes as a result, and the control variables are what you keep the same. By understanding these concepts, you can be the best math student ever and do amazing experiments in all sorts of fields. Now that you know about independent and dependent variables, let's see how much you remember. Answer the following questions. What is an independent variable? A. A variable that changes as a result of another variable. B. A variable that you can change. C. A variable that you want to keep the same. What is a dependent variable? A. A variable that changes as a result of another variable. B. A variable that you can change. C. A variable that you want to keep the same. In the example of baking a cake, what is the independent variable? A. The type of cake mix. B. The temperature of the oven. C. The way the cake turns out. In the example of eating a healthy breakfast, what is the dependent variable? A. The type of breakfast you eat. B. Whether or not you eat breakfast. C. How awake you feel during class. What are control variables? A. Variables that you can change in an experiment. B. Variables that you want to keep the same in an experiment. C. Variables that you don't need to worry about in an experiment. Answers. B. A variable that you can change. A. A variable that changes as a result of another variable. B. The temperature of the oven. C. How awake you feel during class. B. Variables that you want to keep the same in an experiment. Great job! If you got all the answers right, then you're on your way to becoming a math expert. Keep practicing and you'll do great. Regenerate response.